Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kate, and today I will be doing the very first wrap-up of this channel. Today I'll be talking about the books that I read in the month of May. This month I wanted to take part in the Asian readathon, and I did end up doing half of the readathon. I didn't quite finish it, but I'm happy with my progress. This readathon was created by Cindy on her channel Read with Cindy, but is now with Cindy. In order to complete the prompts though, you had to choose authors from different Asian national identities. If you want to learn more about the Asian readathon, I will leave a link in the description to her video explaining the challenge as well as the readathon. On that note, let me get into the books that I read this month. So the first book I read this month was The Marrow Thieves by Cherie Dimaline, and I gave it 4 stars. So I read this book for my friend's Indigenous book club, where our group reads books written by Indigenous authors. And wow, heartbreaking, but so hopeful. There are some trigger warnings for this book that I will put into the description. This book covers so many themes such as environmental stewardship, commodification of Indigenous people, and in our group we talked about blood quantum in Canada. Read it for the themes if anything else. Be prepared for some really disturbing things to happen in the book, and I will leave trigger warnings, but overall I really loved it. It was well done, and it's a YA novel too, and if I were teaching it, I would definitely teach to an older audience because of the content. It's really worth a read if you want to kind of read a dystopian Indigenous author's novel. The second book I read this month was Know My Name by Chanel Miller, and I gave that one 5 stars because it was so good and so also heartbreaking. It was a heartbreaking month. I read this for the Asian readathon, and the challenge prompt was read any nonfiction book written by an Asian author. Chanel Miller is a Chinese American author. It goes into her experience with her sexual assault. She also goes into the criminal justice system in the United States. There are many similarities with Canada, which is where I'm from. She talks about rape culture, which I thought was really well done, and she goes into and gives real world examples and examples in her life that all women face. So that was really well done, and she talked about it in a way that I hadn't heard before. So it's really worth a read. It's absolutely life-changing. It changed my life. I got so angry while I was reading this book. There were so many injustices that Chanel faced and was forced to face because of this stupid decision. I was frustrated with how the way that she lays it out. It's easy for us to see oh, things should have made sense. These obviously led to a specific outcome, and that outcome didn't come at all. Oh, it's a hopeful ending. I highly recommend this novel. Then I read Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and I had to look at the screen for that because my pronunciation of Japanese names it could be better. So for this novel, I gave it 3 stars. I read this for Asian readathon as well. I was part of the prompt, read any book written by an Asian author in your favorite genre. My favorite genre is fantasy. And this was a Japanese author, and it's also a translated work, so that's really great. I haven't read very many translated works this year, so this is a great opportunity to get into that a little bit more. So Anyways, this book, cafe vibes is the main point, and that's what it says in my little notes here. It will make you sad. I had tears in my eyes at a few points in the novel. It is set up as short stories set in the same cafe that allows visitors to time travel, but only once in a specific seat, and they can only be in the past until the coffee becomes cold. And we love it when a title makes sense and connects with our entire story. I'm an English major. It brings me so much joy. This one I didn't feel was like too deep. I thought the themes are sad, but I didn't connect with this novel as much as I was hoping to, I think. I could see this as an anime, because there was a lot of over exaggerated characteristics. Like, I was thinking of the one lady was over the top, informal. I don't know. And he kind of like wrote her like in a way that like kind of looked down on her. Oh my gosh, spoilers. When her sister died, it was kind of like, oh, she changed her life and she became more proper. And I was like, I don't think that, I feel like, well, yeah, that's kind of nice, but at the same time, like, I don't know. It felt a little forced, in my opinion. It didn't touch my heart, like very static characters. And I think the purpose of this book was that the reason why they can't change the past, is one of the rules is they know going in. They can go into the past, but they can't change it. So their future remains the same, no matter how they influenced or tried to influence the past. And so the big point of this novel was that it changes the person, and it changes their outlook, and it changes their personality and such. And I just feel like it wasn't as meaningful as it made itself seem. It was more like, I kind of felt like a little more forced, and like the characters didn't stand out to me. One thing that you might enjoy is that this is a novel that focuses on themes rather than character and plot, which is fine. It's just not my favorite thing. And so, yeah, I'm more of a character-driven person. So this wasn't something that I really enjoyed, but if you really like themes and like how an author will like develop their themes in their novel, like, this is a really great book and you'll love it. For me, nah. And also, it was pretty straightforward writing. It was very like to the point, and I do usually like that. In this case, I was kind of like, yeah, you told your story, and thanks for that. The next book I read, I don't have any notes for, so we're just gonna go for it. It's gonna be great. The next thing I read was The Song of Achilles, and that was by Madeline Miller. I gave this one 4 stars. People have been raving me about it on BookTube as well as Twitter, and so I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. I'll get it from my library. And wow, it was really good. The writing was beautiful. The characters, lovely. The themes were great. And the storyline was really well done too. Let me tell you some actual things instead of just like being like, oh man, these. The Song of Achilles is about Patroclus and his growing up alongside Achilles and their relationship as they grow up together, and as Achilles and Patroclus move into the Trojan War, and how their relationship changes, but also how other people affect them and affect their relationship. It was so well done. I did cry. And I loved the ending so much. Spoiler, I loved when his mom, and I'm not going to try to pronounce her name because it's going to be heckin' wrong, Achilles' mom finally accepts Patroclus and Achilles' relationship. And like, after hearing Patroclus tell their story and like Achilles from his point of view, wow, so good. The reason why I gave this a 4-star and not a 5-star was just because I think I wanted a little bit more for character development. That's just gonna be a theme. I'm so sorry. It's just gonna be a theme, okay? And I think I really liked reading their point from Patroclus's point of view, but I think I'm going to hold out on the 5-star for a female perspective from Madeline Miller and in Cersei. And that's not how we pronounce it, but I'm gonna pronounce it that way anyways. Oh my gosh, it's all Greek to me. That's why it's 4 stars. It's not because it's I hated like the writing style or anything. No, it was beautiful. It's just I think the character development I needed a little bit more. Just a little bit. Other than that, wow, beautiful. Like, so good. So good. And finally, I think this is 5 books. Let me actually count. 1. Yeah, 5 books this month. So the final book that I read was If I Had Your Face, and by Frances Cha, and I gave this one 3 stars. The reason why I gave this one 3 stars, well, actually, let's just like kind of get into like what it's about and stuff. So this was another prompt that I did for Asian Readathon. I finished it before the date, which was great. So the challenge prompt I chose for this one was read any book featuring an Asian protagonist. And so this book has 4 female protagonists, and it's from their perspectives throughout the book. It's set in Korea, and we follow their lives as just like over the span of like a year or like a few months is kind of like what I gauged. They don't really tell you, which is fine. I don't mind that. But you follow their lives as they work and live in South Korea. And wow, it was really interesting. There was a lot of things I didn't expect when I was reading this. Like, one of our protagonists, one of our narrators, is a sex worker, and I loved her. She was so awesome. Like, I loved all of them, kind of. The one mother, I was kind of like, oh, you're so angry at everything. But I think the point of the book was like having female relationships was so important. And like, it wasn't the male relationships that fulfilled these like for women. It was having relationships with other women and like recognizing themselves in each other. Yeah, that was really good. And all the men were trash. So this was kind of like a hate men novel that I really enjoyed. Characterization was great. It's really nice to see into the lives of the different women. And because I don't know a lot about South Korea, like, and beauty standards, like, oh my god, the beauty standards in this book were like just awful and like heartbreaking, because the women would still be so beautiful and like also just like don't dislike themselves. Or maybe I'd give this a 3.5 stars because it was so well done. I liked how there was hope at the end, but it wasn't from a relationship with men. It was from a relationship between women, and that being the meaningful like relationship in their lives that they knew they could sustain and like be nourished by. It was just Oh, dang it, maybe I should give this 4 stars. Why did I give it 3 stars? I think this is one of those books where you have to like kind of sit with it for a little bit and be like, oh yeah, that was awesome. And so you change your mind over the time. Anyways, you can probably see my face is turning beet red. I think it's like plus 35 here. I'm gonna probably peace out. And I guess I can kind of go into like what I'm reading right now. I'm reading like several books. Right now I'm kind of overwhelmed with how many books I have. I'm so overwhelmed with how many books I have on the go right now. So I'm reading right now On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. And I was gonna do that for the Asian Readathon, but you know, time and such. I was working at my partner's parents' farm. Show you my experience there. Some roosters and lambs and such. And I'm also reading The Bone Witch. I'm also reading Braiding Sweetgrass. I'll give you authors' names in the future. I'm loving all of these so far. I think I'm just like, I'm a little overwhelmed. I've already told you, but it's fine. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, let us part on that note. Thank you for listening to this May wrap up. We'll see how it goes. It's gonna be fine. And if you're interested, please check out my Goodreads. If you friend me, I promise I will friend you back. You don't have to follow me. Just friend me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. And I hope to see you again in the future in another video in another week or so. All right. Okay. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you again soon. All right. Bye. Do the thing. Make the sound, people. Guys. I'll probably do one.